Where to find iron ores in Minecraft 1.18. This video is going to explain finding iron ore, the iron ore veins, how iron generates, and the different batches of iron ore. The big difference in the 1.18 update is to world generation. What this means is that the caves have changed. The floor of the world is at -64 instead of at 0, but with iron ore this means they generate differently. The iron ore has 3 batches. A batch means the range, the amount of ores in a blob, if they can be exposed to air, and the height they are most likely to generate. It is possible for one batch to generate in one way and another differently, as is the case with iron. Let's go through all 3 batches and also the iron ore vein. The first batch is how the iron ore generates in mountains or above the surface. This batch will try to generate iron ore 40 times per chunk in blobs of 0 to 13 ores from Y layer 128 to 320 in the world. A chunk is a 16 by 16 area from bedrock to the sky. These chunks are how the world is divided. Blobs are groupings of the same ore. The best spot for this batch is Y layer 255, decreasing at the ends of the range. To give you an idea of where in relation this batch would appear in the world, the surface is at Y layer 62, and the mountain peaks in this update can reach 256. The range of this batch starts 60 blocks above the surface. Also, the best spot is at the top of mountains. One thing I should mention is that just because it attempts to generate 40 times doesn't mean there will be 40 blobs. If a blob generates in air, it won't generate. If you are near a mountain and need iron, it would be a good spot to check for iron ore. The Stony Peaks, which is a mostly stone covered mountain biome, would be easy to spot iron ore blobs on the surface. Most of the other mountain biomes are snow covered, so it may be difficult to spot iron ore unless it is in a stone cliff. I'd suggest if you find a cave above ground, like in the side of a mountain, this would be a good spot to find iron ore. The only change in bedrock is this batch will have blobs of ore 0 to 10 instead of 0 to 13 like in Java Edition. The second batch is the one you're most likely to find underground. This batch generates 6 times per chunk in blobs of 0 to 13 ores between -24 to 54 vertical position in the world. The best level is at 15, and the iron ore decreases in likelihood at the ends of this range. One change in the 1.18 update is that from 0 and below, deep slate will replace stone. With looking for iron ore in this batch, you would want to stay slightly above or below this line where it changes to deep slate. The caves would be a good area to explore, as the caves would cut through a lot of terrain and could expose iron blobs on the walls, ceilings, and floors. The best of the caves to explore would be the Cheese Cave. The Cheese Cave is a very large cave that can have stone pillars in the middle. You should probably be careful in these caves, as there can be a lot of hostile mobs that can swarm you if you aren't paying attention. The third batch has smaller blobs, but a larger range. This batch attempts to generate 3 times per chunk in blobs of 0 to 5 with an even distribution from -63 to 64 in the world. This isn't a batch you should probably be seeking out. The best way to think about this batch is that it overlaps with the second batch between -24 to 54, so this will increase your chance of getting iron ore in that range even more. This also shows that you are very unlikely to find any iron ore below level -24 underground. The last spot to find iron ore is in the iron ore vein. This is a new terrain feature added in the 1.18 update. This is a long streak of blocks that can branch off in different directions. The iron ore will be composed of iron ore, raw iron blocks, and tough blocks. The ore vein will be found below 0 down to bedrock. From my experience, the best way to spot an ore vein is by seeing the tough blocks near small blobs of iron ore. Raw iron blocks also do not generate in the game unless in an ore vein. If you're wondering how many ores you can get from an ore vein, I have mined out an entire copper ore vein and got several stacks of ores. It could be less or more depending on the size of the iron ore vein. Strategies for mining ore. To summarize, I would suggest exploring the caves would probably be the best option, as you can also get other ores, find the new cave biomes, and structures like mine shafts. You should also be aware of where you are vertically in the world, so you can actually mine for iron ore where it will appear. Mining in mountains would make sense if you are near a mountain or are trying to mine for iron ore, coal ore, and emerald ore. The iron ore vein is rare. You probably just want to be aware of raw iron blocks, or if there are any tough blocks next to iron ore to be able to identify that it is an ore vein.